Okay, quick recap before we move on. Sticks are painted, and I actually ended up going through with the gold and just doing little dots on the little holes there, just adds an extra little sparkle. I think it's pretty. I attempted to do my design on here. It looks okay. I've got some glue. I actually took a Lynn McMaster's hat box making class, and she said you have to have neutral pH glue, and this is what I used. She also does awesome fan things, by the way. I tried to show her mine, and she said my edges weren't even, but and they're not. Hers are a lot more neat, but here we are. And then I've got my glue in a little cup thing as I'm going to apply it with a paintbrush, and got my fan. That's all pleated. There it is. Okay. I'm going to get my wits about me because this next step is where we're going to put everything together and glue it in place. Okay, the very first thing that I want to do, once we have this out, this is going to be the front stick that's going to go on the front. So what we're going to do is, you can even see the picture there. That's what's kind of helpful about these. There's a picture of it. This is going to get glued like that, and you see this part sticking out. So I'm just going to trace. Oh, I also put my little plastic guy in. Although we could probably wait till the next step to do that, but okay, I'm going to line this up right even with the front. And I'm going to cut that off so it doesn't stick out. Because it's a lot easier to cut this off right now than it is if you glue it first. So it'd be nice to get that handled. All right, that looks pretty good. So I like to use the paintbrush. It's more precise. Get on here. Now, if you have one of the fan leaves that does not go down the 4.5 inches, well, if you're using these specific sticks, then just be careful about putting too much glue right at the bottom. I think this one is close, so it should be fine. Okay, so just about right like that. And that should probably dry for a minute, but I want to keep showing you more. It's probably fine. All right, now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to start putting these on our little plastic stick there. Now, remember, this is the part I did not paint, so the glue is going to go there. And this is the part that is painted, so that is what we want to show on the back. So just slide this over. Okay. And what's going to happen is, did you see that? I just kind of automatically did it, but I should show you. I'm going to take this fold, this first fold here, and now I'm going to place this over that. However, you want to have glue on that first, so. A little bit of glue. I have actually not had a problem with these coming unglued. I thought I would in the beginning. I don't know if anyone else I made fans for has had a problem. Probably made like 10 fans and gave them out for birthdays and Christmas and the like. And sometimes I see them out and about, but I don't know if anyone's ever had a problem. Hopefully not. Okay. Here we go. Now, I want to line this up right in the middle. So you can kind of see this little bump right here, right in the middle. Just press that down flat. And if we did everything well, then this will be kind of right at that hip, and the top will end just about at the end, right there. Okay. Let's do that again this time, and I'll do it in the right order. Let's get a stick. And on the unpainted top edge, By the way, the bottom is painted because that will show. Just this little top. Here, some glue. Right, a little plastic nub. And again, right even, right on top. Let's do one more and then we'll look at it. Okay. All right, seems good. Okay, and folded and down. Okay, let's check and see if I did it right. All right, here's the front, and I'm not gonna pull too hard because it's still drying, but it looks like it's opening and closing like a fan should, even though we only have like 3 on there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to continue on. See you in a little bit. All right, so I just glued on my last little stick right there. And there was a step I forgot, but you won't forget because I'm going to tell you. Remember how I went around the outside with gold Sharpie on the front? It's good to do that on the back too. It just adds a little extra special something. So I could probably go in and do it along the top if I wanted to, but that's just one more little thing that makes it nice. So we've got the outer one to put on now, and we're going to have the same problem that we had on this side where I left it too big, just so there would be enough. So, same thing. I'm going to put it on how I want it. And I'm going to draw along it. This one's quite a bit shorter at the end, and I wonder if it's because of how I altered the image, because I don't think it was 8.5 by 17 on its own. I think I might have stretched it a little this way, but that could be it. I don't know. That whole, oh, now I'm going to cut this. That whole fixing them up in the computer, I'm sure other people are a lot better at that than I am, so however you want to make it nice and even. Let's see. That looks pretty good to me. So I just like to do it a little bit on here. I don't do it on both on these sticks, but on these ones I just feel like it gets it right to the edge. So just doing our glue here and get that nice and even with the edge. It is not perfect. And also, just be careful. It might be good to your little decorations last if you're going to be handling it a lot. And especially earlier, I had all over my hands. I had gold and paint. It was getting on everything. So, yeah, and my nice clean piece of parchment, so I'm not getting gold and paint on everything like that. So, looks pretty good. And then also it's good to, while you're doing it, check and make sure nothing's gluing to itself. I have even gone so far as to put little pieces of wax paper in between while I was doing it, just to make sure that it wasn't sticking to itself. But this looks pretty darn good, I think. So there's only one last thing to do. And that is to seal this off. Right, so last part is we want this side to look like this side now, as much as possible. And earlier I used these, and then I remembered that a lot of times nail clippers work just fine on plastic. It's similar to how your nail is. So I'm going to try this one with a nail clipper, which I've never done before. So let's see. It opens up wide enough. It might not. I clipped a little bit of it off. Look, any bigger ones? Nope, there we go. Just nice and easy. Now this, a little tricky because I don't want to cut it too short. Because I only have one of these, the one that came on it. And but I also don't want it sticking way out. So sleeve, that looks good. So in my experience, we want to start with, let's see if it'll focus. Maybe about like that. And something I should have prepped ahead of time, but no matter. Parchment, and I'm going to put that here because next we are going to play with fire. Okay, so I'm basically covering the fan bottom and this parchment paper. I think I used foil in the past, but this should possibly even work better because it's designed to go in the oven. So, let's see, and then I need a hard surface. This will do. Okay. Just very lightly melting the top of that. It's catching on fire a little bit, that's fine. Okay, and I'm going to push it down flat. Pull parchment out. I know this is kind of a weird thing to do, but it should hold everything in place. So you want to get it flat, and you want some of the edges to be sticking out. That way this doesn't come off. See? Seems pretty sturdy. I also have not had a problem with this. Not had a problem with these coming off. And I also like to just kind of color this in because it's kind of a gross burn color right there. My other pen's kind of a nicer color. I'll probably go over that with it, but I just like to color them. And it looks like a little bead. There are little beads you can put on them. I have not successfully been able to do that. This seems to just be really quick and easy and fine. And there you go. It's free. You already have it. It's done. So yeah, I think it's done. Even I'm surprised. Beautiful. There we go. Hi, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I filmed that yesterday, and since then I had time to think about lots of little tips and tricks so that if you don't want to have to learn by trial and error like I did, I can give you advice. I also decided to make another fan, colored it in last night, and woke up this morning and decided to paint it. So this one I thought was so pretty. It's beautiful morning fan. I wanted to show you. And the back, it did not print perfect on the back, but it printed pretty good. I still think it's beautiful. And on this one, I used silver around the edges, and this pen worked amazing. So if you are going to do silver, this was great. I don't remember if it was Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, but one of those places. And I ultimately decided not to decorate the sticks. It would have been pretty if I did. So if any of you do that, comes out really nice. I also used my toenail clippers a lot more after discovering that they were useful for, what did I do with them yesterday? I think I was clipping, let's see, today. So on this one, it didn't come out. You can see this is sticking up. And so some of these sticks stuck up also. And I just went through and clipped them off. I decided I wanted to maintain this border is more important to me than having it even at the top, because honestly, that's how it is. It's not terrible, and no one's really going to notice. People are going to notice this beautiful, beautiful fan. They're going to see this beautiful border up here, and I think that that's what's more important. Oh, yeah, so yesterday I used, I think it was my tin snips to get this little part off, but these worked even better. They just fit right around it, and I was able to clip it off a lot easier. So I recommend these for that, for clipping your sticks, and then also at the end when you catch this on fire, right? When we melt this part, it's really good for pushing it down. You want something that it's going to be fine. You can push it flat with. So that's a tip. Get out your toenail clippers and keep them with you for this project. Okay, so I've got a whole page of things to tell you that I remembered or didn't get a chance to say yesterday. And the first one is that the best thing is if you can get really high quality images. Now, how do you do that? You put in your search terms for an 18th century fan, a Regency fan, a Victorian fan. If you have very specific dates, you can put those in 1770, hand fan, paper fan, because those specific ones will oftentimes get you to museum pictures, which can be very high quality. Another trick is when you're doing the image search and you go to tools, over on the right-hand side, there's usually a thing that says tools or underneath, and you click on that. There will be an option to choose your size, and I choose large. That will give you the biggest images, usually for a little fan. That's going to be a really nice high-res image. So try that. Possibly could even, I don't know, maybe even Edwardian era fans. I know when I was doing this, I found some that were even kind of in a similar style to what we can make even up through the early 1900s, possibly later. Do your own research, of course, for whatever era you're doing. This is it's super fun. It's kind of addicting. Once I made the one yesterday, I have to make more. And it's good if your first one isn't your favorite because they don't always come out perfect. You'll learn a lot the first time. So maybe save your favorite print for the second one. And I can see, I know I started to make so many. It's like I wanted one for each outfit. So another thing I mentioned was cropping the edges of your image once you have it. I just do it in paint. You can just really close to the tops and the edges, and that'll give you the largest fan. In my experience, getting it 17 inches long is what will fit it nicely on those sticks that you have. Let's see. Yeah, last night I colored my fan in. It's probably best to do that before you fold it. And then it's funny, when I was telling people about this, they were saying, oh, why don't you use some kind of thicker cardboard and or thicker paper stock? But actually thinner paper works better, and the paper that comes out of the printer is just fine. You can also use silk. Dharma Trading sells these rolls of silk that have a paper backing that can be removed. I have yet to try to print a fan out on it. I have, however, printed I printed a picture for one of my muffs, and I also printed garters, like the image for garters, and then embroidered over it. So I have used it for that, and it went through the printer great. Let's see. Oh, sequins. I didn't bring my little sample, but so on the fan that I showed you previously, where it was a Regency fan, I had all those sequins that were glued and sewed onto it. And you can buy those places. You can buy little sequins that are accurate. I think that it can get kind of expensive. What I did was I went to Joann's, I think, and they had just fabric. It's covered with all these different kinds of silver sequins and gold sequins. And I just bought like a tiny, I think they used to give you free samples, but I think you have to buy a strip now. And I just got a little strip of it and picked the sequins off and used them on my fan, and it was really, really cheap. And I have all the sequins I could want for kind of a while now. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to mention the gold. The reason I draw the gold at the top and also on the back and the front is because that would have been a piece of gold foil that was folded over the top. I have seen examples of people who do that on their fans. It's probably expensive if you're an amazing fan maker. Great. Someone who inspired me in the beginning when I was doing this was called Treasures of Dawn. I think she's on Etsy, DAWN, and she draws her own beautiful, beautiful fans, beautiful sticks. You can definitely check her out for inspiration, other than looking at originals, of course, would be ideal. Let's see. The white paint is to make it look like ivory on the ones where you saw that I did yesterday on the sticks. The black paint would probably be more like wood. And then something I learned, I was using parchment paper yesterday and nothing stuck. And then this morning I had out a piece of just regular paper and I was painting my black sticks and they were sticking and they got little bits of paper kind of stuck to them. So I would definitely recommend working on some kind of a non-stick surface. I know in the past I've used wax paper or even foil. You just don't want it. You don't want your little precious, delicate, finely painted sticks sticking to the paper and then having bits come off. The glue I mentioned, the pH neutral glue, another term for it is acid free, and I've seen it in the store. I think that helps keep the paper from yellowing if you're going to have these for a long time. For the paint, kind of similar to how the paper, you want it very thin. Fans are very delicate. The paint, I wouldn't do a lot of layers. I would try to just do one very light layer of paint if you're going to paint them. And acrylic works well. I think in the past I tried to use historically accurate gouache paint. Not even try to say that. And it came off on my hands. I ended up having to completely repaint it. So just stick with something that isn't going to come off. Let's see. There's so many notes. I kept thinking of so many things all night and this morning. Oh, when you're gluing the sticks down, I remember saying, okay, so you've got this first one. This first one is down. And now the second one, I said lay it right in the middle. And what you want is you want it in the middle, you want it lining up with this. So this is in the middle of that, not in the middle of your paper, because who knows what the width of that is and it could vary. And then your second one, and as you see when you close it, and I know you got to do this, but it was one time I didn't, and it did not go well. All of the sticks should line up right exactly in between these two, and that's how you get it to lay flat, and that's also how you get these to be nice and even. And it makes it a lot easier to open and close it, because yeah, I definitely didn't do it like that once. I tried to line it up with the middles, and it won't go well. And speaking of your sticks, I just remembered this. I had to paint the edges of these. So that's something to think about. You don't want to have forgotten that and then be in the middle, of gluing them on. Oh no, you can see that I didn't cover these in paint. I used previously I showed you the two I got from Daiso, the lighter color, and then the darker wood. It looks like a wood color. That's beautiful on its own, but that's the one I painted so that you don't need as much paint to cover it. Less paint is definitely better. Wow, I think that is almost all of it. Oh, I wanted to mention about how much everything cost, because I think it's neat. Assuming you have glue and pens and things like that, it was about $2.50 to print the double-sided, and then it's about $1.50 for your sticks from Daiso, so it's about $4 for each fan, which I think is a very lovely price. Of course, I spent more than that, and you probably will too, buying all kinds of different markers and fun things to spice it up. But, you know, even 3 years later after I bought all that stuff, I'm still using it. So it's a nice investment. You will want to make lots of these. Buy extra sticks because you'll just suddenly have the whim to do it. Yeah, I think that's all for now. And please try it. I'm sure you will. I'm super excited. This tutorial explanation finally happened. So yeah, please give it a try. Let me know what you think and have fun. See you later.